commonly called in industry, some bio-based alternatives to petrochemical solvents. Now, as you know, there is many raw materials that are available coming from the fermentation of carbohydrates that is from vegetables, so not from petroleum. Next slide. And so we have this list of Astrobio, you can see on the right side, that are replacing a lot of commodities that you can see on the left side. Between them, you can see a lot of commodities, solvents that are really toxic, like pyridone, tetrahydrofuran, is cancerogenic, and so on. Since our products, that you will see on the right side, are just irritant is the best possible. So you can immediately understand the first advantage of our products, that is their toxicological profile and labeling profile, because of course there is a completely different labeling. But what is very important for you, for any consumer, any producer, is that any Astrobio is replacing, is reporting the same physical and chemical properties of the corresponding commodity. That means power solvent, solvency power, that is very important, evaporation rate, flash point, and so on and so on. So, as a first instance, any formulator can adopt the same product, our product, at the same weight in this formulation. Next slide, please. What is very important for us, what is very important about our know-how is flexibility, because as you know, growing number of companies all around the world are investing in producing a lot of derivatives from carbohydrates and so on. Here I have written just some examples, of course there are some other, but if you consider singularly this kind of solvents, normally they are usable, they are suitable just for some utilization, because of course we cannot reproduce all the characteristics of the other solvents. For example, many, not all, but many of these solvents are too slow as far as evaporation rate. Just for example, because the paint producer needs a certain evaporation rate. Since we have developed this know-how, this technological platform, in order to be very flexible about that. What is very important for all bio-based solvent, what is the main feature is that, of course, we start from raw materials that are coming from biomass, not from petrol. So you have a cycle of carbon dioxide that is completely closed, because, of course, when you use biosolvent and our customers are producing their products, of course, at the end of their life cycle, of course, they will release CO2 because they contain carbon, oxygen, and so on. But the same amount of CO2, carbon dioxide, that will be released at the end was the same amount that the plant, by the photosynthesis, has removed from the air. This cycle is the background of the sustainability and the renewability is impossible for petroleum. Because petroleum, you don't have this. For petroleum, you just drill petroleum from the background and you use a carbon that is oxide. You cannot sow, harvest petroleum. Since you can sow, harvest, plant any year. You understand? This is very important. These are just a table that can show you that any consumer, any end user can have very different motivation, very different values in order to shift from petroleum solvent to bio-based solvent that can be increased by the degradability, solvent that can be increased by the degradability, degrees of the hazard, and so on. Of course, that means that everyone can be motivated for different values. So here you have quite interesting of what I was telling before. So you have on the left side all most toxic and harmful solvent we can substitute, we can replace, since at the right side you have our products that are just irritant. So, what is very interesting to understand. Next slide. Okay, the second thing is many people ask us, which is the price? Of course, which is the cost, of course. First of all, our products are not commodity, are specialty. And so, of course, generally speaking, it's not true but generally speaking, our products are most expensive than responder. But, so that is very, for this reason, it's very important that any utilizer is trying our product and is verifying which kind of technical, marketing, toxicological, storage needs, environmental protection advantages it can draw from our solvents. And the reason why we already selling all around Europe is why we have customers that has done this work, this evaluation. Is an overall evaluation, not just the price. Just the price, so we waste time. You are wasting time. There could be many advantages, for example, the decrease of viscosity. In some cases, very, very important decrease of viscosity in the formulation, just changing from commodity to specialty. So decrease of viscosity is very important because if you have 30% less viscosity, that means that if the formulator wants to produce high solid product, of course you can use 30% less solid to get to the same viscosity. And in Germany we have got some cases unbelievable. Case of a customer that has got 40% of decrease. 40% of decrease. So in fact it was that means that the customer can adjust the viscosity as you want. Using just shifting from metal to petrochemical one, or for cost reduction of pollution, because if you have more biodegradability, so the water so sludges out surface tension property. The next slide is very interesting because in this case you can see, for example, on a metal surface, the same formulation, same coating on metal surface, a formulation that is based on with thinner, with solvent on butyl glycol, on carbon butyl glycol xylene, and the same formulation with our astrobiotic. So you can see I don't know if you can see the picture. Here there is a typical orange peel, that's the effect, of course. Here you can see that due to the surface tension, our product guarantees a completely smooth surface. So this resume, this is a summary, last slide, the summary of all advantages we can give to our customer. And so, of course, this business is growing, and I thank you very much for your attention, and at your disposal for questions. Thank you. Thank you.